Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Alienware Arena EU week number 5. We are in mid-season for the Alien Arena, and the EU circuit is comprised of both EU West as well as EU East and Nordic. But today, do we have a game for you? Just changing a few things here. I am the FourCourtJester. With me today will be Rapid Transit 24/7, i.e. the Rapid Casting. How you doing, brother?
Doing really well. Actually, really excited to make a trip back to the EU West server, as I normally play on NA, as I'm sure you do as well. But it's fantastic to be back, this time casting the Alienware Arena's EU side. And today, I believe we actually have the team's Data Extrapolators going up versus Not Your Average Nobodies. So I'm actually pretty excited to cast this today. And it looks like everybody is ready, so we should be able to get the game underway.
Yes, indeed. I love a game that is on time. And you know what? I was talking to the teams just beforehand, and Not Your Average Nobody is Team NYAN. Now, does that remind you of anything, Rapid?
I don't know. Perhaps some small cat somewhere is also delicious with sprinkles.
Yeah, I do believe Pop-Tarts had a hand in that one, yeah.
Oh my goodness, I want Pop-Tarts so badly right now, but what I want even more is a game of League of Legends. So, just to go over which team is which, we do have Data Extrapolators on the left. They have Ali McKay Schlongel, or actually it's SH Long Lee, if you want to go a little bit more of a martial arts side. ZXCQ, who for some random reason I have on my friends list, I think. I have no idea, but Quinica Pop and Peachy Clet rounding out the lineup for Data Executors.
Wow, I'm glad you can say those names.
You know what? I suck at saying names, so I'm just gonna take my victory and then leave it there.
Okay, fair enough. Leave it there, no worries. But yeah, week 5. So here, typical rules apply. You know, we got our typical bans. We had the teams decided on which side was which. The Alienware backend system does a phenomenal job of tracking all this. Makes life really easy here for casters to get into it. And we do have some bans now on the table. Shen Alistar coming out for Data Extrapolators, and I'm just going to call them Team Nyan. You know, Team Nyan-Cat, better than Not Your Average Nobody. Team Nyan-Cat. That's what they are today. It just flows off the tongue so well, and maybe I'll even dig up the song in their honor. But Yorick Morgana, they're out of the way, and the last band coming out, Blue Side Diana. So looking at those, you know, 2 fairly solid mids, a top, and 2 junglers. Well, I guess Shen could go up there as well. Overall, some fairly standard bans. Nothing really too targeted or really out of the way, in my opinion.
Yeah, I haven't seen a Yorick ban in a while. There are a lot of top laners just kind of started to outclass him. I mean, sure, he really destroys Teemo top lane, but there are a lot of top laners like, say, Rengar or Jace, neither one of them banned here, that probably would have occupied a spot there a little bit better. I actually see Kha'Zix in here in the champion selection. Fortunately, won't be seeing him today, but there we go. I was expecting to see a Trundle ban, and then I realized that Trundle is a troll, and that instead of seeing that picked, rather, we will see a first pick Rengar coming out from Ali McKay. So definitely something that you see first picked a lot these days.
Is Kha'Zix actually supposed to be out this week? I thought he was coming out next week.
I think he was supposed to come out with the patch originally, but then they delayed him with this patch to test him further on the PvE. And then once they get done with that, he should be out either this time next week or sometime over the weekend.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I totally didn't notice him, but my god, he really does look like the alien from Alien, does he not? Wow.
He really does. He's a xenomorph at heart.
Yeah, wouldn't want to see him getting freaky. Anyways, Malphite is the last band coming out for Team Yan, and that is, again, a very solid, more of a top, can jungle, but yeah, looking at the Yorick Malphite, something really against those top laners, but it's interesting because, yeah, Jace did make it through, but we don't really see him picked up. As you said, Rengar, first pick up here for the Data Extrapolators, does look to be a solid top. I realize I should probably block those summoners. Yeah, there we go. And, yeah, to join him is going to be that Lee Sin. Looking at an Ezreal bottom, possibly a Nunu, and I don't know, Nunu as a support, as a jungle, he can be very powerful in the right hands. It just always seems a little underwhelming to me on this screen. I don't know why.
Well, the idea is that you have perma-slow, and that's so rough to deal with because it's like, oh, well, I can move, but I have 200 move speed, so what's the point? And let me just talk a little bit about the lineup here for excuse me, data extrapolators. Oh my goodness, it's so stacked. They got Rengar, possibly the strongest champion out right now, and then they have Nunu and Ezreal for the bottom lane. Double attack speed slows, so when you get hit by Mystic Shot or Arcane, yeah, Mystic Shot, and then the snowball from Nunu, you really have like about 0.3 attack speed. So what's the point? And then you also have Anivia mid, super strong, at least as far as the EU server is concerned. And with the Lee Sin in the jungle to round things out, I'm really liking the way their team is shaping up.
And speak of the devil, and he will appear. Jace, last pick up here for the Nyan, and he's probably going to be a very strong candidate for that top lane. Looking at Nautilus, typically more in that jungle, so yeah, I'm going to go with Jace in that top. Ari mid, you know, I'm a big fan of Ari mid. I know that she did get hit a little bit with that nerf ban, so you can't build quite as tanky, but with that charm, the Foxfire, and the mobility afforded by her ultimate, especially up against things like this Anivia wall, for example, it just dash right on over. It does not have to be too much of an obstacle to deal with. But I am liking a Nautilus. Nautilus is like a Blitzcrank, just better and can jungle. Of course, when you do get both of them together, magical, wonderful things do happen. But Corki
Unless you're on the other team.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can tear them apart, sure. Imagine an anchor coming at you while you're being grabbed by a Blitzcrank. I cannot imagine the pain.
I'm pretty sure that's like a Chinese form of torture or something.
Is it? Like the Chinese finger trap?
Something like that, but with two giant metal hands. Except one of the hands is a hook.
There we go. 3-minute delay is now in. Summoners are now being revealed. But Corki Tarek in that bottom lane, again, something more of a kill lane. Who was I watching last night? I was watching NY Jackie from Team Curse, and he was playing a Corki with a Tarek support, and wow, was they able to bring a lot of pain, especially with an Ignite in that bottom lane. You can see Argle Bargle going to be setting up very nicely with that. And Exhaust coming out as well on Tarek. So we do have a good potential to unload both Summoner spells after the Dazzle Shatter, Valkyrie, Big Bombs. That's a lot of damage to deal with. I'm not too sure that, this bottom lane Nunu and Ezreal are going to be able to deal with that. Ezreal, maybe. Arcane Shift can get him out of some of those sticky situations. Not entirely too sure about the Yeti.
Yeah, now the problem with going Tarek against Ezreal is that Ezreal's Arcane Shift disjoints the stun. So if he Arcane Shifts right when he gets stunned, he'll be stunned, teleport backwards, and then the teleport duration will come off of the duration of the stun. So really Tarek's 1.5 second stun is really more of like a 1 second stun, and Ezreal still gets to move during it. So really not the greatest choice against Ezreal. It also works against like Blitzcrank grabs, because Blitzcrank grab applies a mini stun, so you can undo that by just teleporting backwards. Ezreal really slippery in that bottom lane, and especially combined with Nunu, I think that's it's gonna be one of the teams is going to die like instantly. There's not going to be a middle ground here. You're going to be slowed from Nunu, and you're not going to get away from the ultimate from Ezreal. And on the other hand, Argle Bargle and the Weeno, they're going to stun you up, and then there's just so much burst damage coming out from Corki. That's going to be really hard to dodge too. So I'll be really excited to see which bottom lane comes out on top.
Indeed. Now, taking a quick look at the jungle, we do got Nautilus, who is going to be using mana versus the manaless Lee Sin. And if you recall, we did an EU tournament, I believe, 2 weeks ago. And we saw some really intense counter jungle action coming out from those manaless junglers, with the Shen, the Lee Sin. So I'm very curious to see if we're going to see something similar here, since we are back in the EU region. And Schlongel, looking at him, he is going to be the jungle for his team. I don't know. I'd like to see something a bit more aggressive. He is rocking an AD jungle, so a little bit of extra attack damage, attack speed, and penetration, but he does have the 21 points in defensive. In terms of his runes, physical damage, armor, and magic resist. So that flat AD, I'm just kind of hoping that we see a little bit of early pressure coming out of him in terms of the jungle, in terms of maybe an early gank. Like, I don't think... When was the last time I saw a level 2 red ward gank?
I'm trying to remember if I've seen that one of those in a tournament, other than awesome things like NRS Baron Panda we saw in the Pro Limited Rock and Esports Cup. So that was really cool to see him there. And will we see some awesome stuff coming out of this action we have here for the Alienware Arena? I don't know, but we should be able to get the game underway any moment now.
I'm hoping.
I just see a black screen. Like it hasn't actually launched the game yet.
Yeah, me too. I'm a little curious about that.
Huh.
Well, let's do a quick prayer here to the RNG gods, see if they roll us a nice loading of game. But yeah,
It says you're still in champion select.
it's just kind of sitting here looking at us, guys.
Yeah.
Not entirely too sure what to make of this, really.
I really hope it like magically launches itself,
Well,
because
they definitely
otherwise.
got into game, so their game definitely went. Okay. Oh,
Ah,
yay! It
wow,
just took
that
an
was
extra minute,
delayed.
a little bit.
Why on? I'm trying to think. I've never seen that happen before, but thankfully we don't have to worry. Our prayers to the RNG gods were answered. We have appeased them, and they have given us a game of League of Legends. If in fact it does start, it's definitely taking its time for me.
You're also tearing a bit now in Skype.
Let me fix that.
Not to worry, sir. Alright, so phew, thankfully the game is going to be loading here, guys. EU West Week 5 Data Extrapolators versus Not Your Average Nobody. A little bit of a scare, but we're good to go. Let's check out these skins. Nunu Bot, Acolyte, Lee Sin, Frosted Ezreal, Hextech, and Headhunter Rengar. Very, very nice skins. 5-team. Always heartwarming to see a 5-skin team. At the same time, Midnight Ari and Full Metal Jace, not exactly on point. Guys, get the program. It's all about the skins. But,
I was gonna say already a solid advantage coming out from data executors, so I don't know. They're definitely a little bit ahead.
I'm also looking now at Rengar. Rengar with a teleport versus Jace with that ignite. So, with that teleport slot, he did give up one more of those offensive cooldowns, but at the same time, a teleporting top lane can make the difference in terms for even the first dragon, even the
Well, and
first team fight.
it's not just a teleporting top lane. Rengar can ult and then teleport, and he appears where he teleported invisible. So you're going to see the teleport animation, but you're not going to see anything else. And then he just pops out and explodes you. So that's something that's has been a little bit newly discovered. So it's going to be interesting to see what Beachy Clet has here to offer for us today. I mean, it's Rengar, so Rengar always accompanied with a lot of action. But, well, what kind of action we will see is about to be revealed. So once again, yeah, welcome to the Alienware Arena with myself and FourCourtJester. We have got two very amazing teams for you guys today. Thanks for joining us, and we will be getting this game underway as both teams kind of just run up the middle lane and into their own jungle. Although it looks like we could see a little bit of extra aggression coming out from the red team of Nian.
Yep, they are more clustered here in the center, but at the same time, we're looking at Data up there in the tri-bush, maybe looking to invade on that red, maybe just looking to try to catch out the top laner. But these days, you typically don't really stay that alone early into the game. Usually, if that does happen, you've now given up first blood, especially against these 5-man roaming gank squads. Now, at the same time, I took a quick look at Rengar. He's not running any kind of spell penetration or cooldown. He only has the 10% armor, so I think we're in store for more of an attack damage Rengar today.
Yeah, and I would definitely expect to see that ever since they, I mean, I wouldn't say AP Rengar is not viable anymore, but he's definitely taken a little bit of a hit, so he no longer does the same things that he used to. AD Rengar, especially with those buffs, there's just no reason to play AP Rengar when you can get even more damage out of running AD, plus you get a lot of utility, and I guess that was the way he was intended to be played anyways, so I'm really excited to see exactly what Rengar does have for us today, but it's going to be about the interesting stars here in the jungle, as there's going to be a heavy counter jungling. Schlongel actually already taking down 3 out of the 4 raids, leaving 1 behind, and now with a pull from Anivia and a lot of help from Beachy Khaled, Schlongel is going to be off to an amazing start here in the beginning of the game.
Yeah, beginning smiteless on those wraiths. Is he going to be? Yes, he is. There goes that smite on the red, so that will be denying the red here to Nautilus, but I think the best part about that is that red team did not know about it. There was no wards, no pings, and here we go. A level 2 gank might be up on deck. Schlonga going to come in here behind Jace. Jace realizing he's in a little bit of danger, but will not be going down, just too close to the turret. But either way, the pressure is on. We should now know. Nautilus looking at his wraiths, noticing that the red is missing, and he's going to be a little bit more of a frowny face once he realizes there's only one wraith here. Nonetheless, he must kill it.
Yeah, that always kind of sucks. You have to kill off just one Wraith by itself. But Lee Sin coming in for a secondary gank. Is he going to land the Q? That's going to determine what happens here. One Q lands. They go in on it. Where is the Ignite? It's on Schlongl, but no Ignite coming out from Rengar. And that really kind of kept him from getting that kill. And Ignite and auto attack probably would have picked up Jace there.
Well, at the same time, they couldn't go in too deep. Again, that tower just too close for comfort, and we did actually have the Ignite come out from Jace on top of Lee Sin, so one more tower might have been, you know, that dive-worthy trade that we were looking for. But either way, 0-0, playing it safe, and I do like how Jace immediately, after realizing that he is getting ganked, just transforms that hammer, gives him that little bit of extra movement speed. So, at the same time, you know, gold about even. Lee Sin going to be on his way. It does look like Nautilus, realizing all this top pressure, is going to take advantage and get his own red buff from the Lee Sin camp, and now he might come in for his own gank bottom lane.
Yeah, I really think Lee Sin should have gone immediately to his own red buff to kind of keep that from happening, but with Nautilus coming bottom, look at all that damage on Ezreal. Noon is forced to flash out, but Ezreal did not burn flash. He just decided to take almost his entire health bar in damage, so he's down to about 200 HP, and well, he has a couple of health potions left, so it's not going to be that bad.
Looking at a little bit of exchange up top. Beachy going to be really taking down a lot of hit points here on top of Jace. Jace now forced to burn through a lot of his health potions. Only does have that one left. So Beachy doing alright up here. In terms of people, I should really move around this scoreboard. So Rapid, all yours.
Yeah, always interesting to see what Riot decides to add into their spectator client, and the ability to move people around really makes it easy to sort of see CS differences and a lot of comparisons between the players, so always a nice thing to have. Middle lane, something we haven't really focused on just yet as far as the game is concerned. It's going to be Quinkpop versus Voit. I'm just gonna say Ari because that's a little bit rough. Ari versus Anivia, both in the A category, but I think Anivia is definitely gonna have the early game advantage, and once she hits 6, she's gonna be able to shove Ari super hard. So if Ari gets a little bit ahead in the lane and can get that AP advantage, she's gonna be able to wave clear right back. But if she's a little bit behind, Anivia is definitely gonna have the pushing power and the ability to roam because her lane is so pushed. So I really think that's it's gonna be interesting to see who exactly gets ahead and how. And speaking of getting ahead, it looks like Nautilus coming out top lane for a gank. We're going to see Rengar a little bit vulnerable, pushed way out in the lane. And really, I mean, Jace is a little bit low, but without an Ignite, he can really go in here onto BG He's going to miss, actually, with the Q, but knocking BG back towards his own tower. There's the Q, but Lee Sin with a counter gank picks up first blood. Wow! Perfect positioning, excellent reaction there from Schlongl, able to come up there, not only save Rengar's life, but just completely turn that gank around.
And well, during all this action, the middle lane, it is Ari on the, well, more of the rough stick of the trade in the mid. Quinkpop doing some decent work there. And as you did say, Anivia does have a little bit more of the early advantage. She does have to head on back to town, going to give up a little bit of CS. I was already keeping an eye on this bottom lane, really expecting a little bit more to happen. Again, with that Taric stun on top of Nunu, and then into the aggression from a Corki, kind of expected to see a bit more fluctuation to health bars, but, you know, Nunu, with that consume, rank 1, it's all he needs, and he heals himself 125 a pop. At the same time, he's only used it once, or he's not CSing with it.
Yeah, now BG and Schlongl are pretty much just a two-man jungle team. They're just completely destroying Nautilus jungle. They took all but one Wraith, they took both of the double golems, and now they're just running back into the lane to go dish out some damage onto Jace. He's going to pop his Mercury Hammer just to get a little bit of extra speed, but he's actually taking a lot of damage down below half health. Are they going to go for this kill? Schlongl gets pulled under turret. They're going to be the kill from BG, but will Lee Sin go down? Yes, he will. And now Nautilus jumping onto Rengar. Will he be able to hit that? He is level 6, so he has his ultimate available, but does not have to use that. He heals 15% of his health to go back up to 330 HP, and then just kind of walks out of there easy peasy.
Yeah, unfortunate for him having to use the ultimate just to escape, but at the same time, they got the kill. Unfortunate for the trade under the tower, but again, a Nautilus is like a Blitzcrank, but just better in my book. So, you know, they are not going to come out of that one too unscathed. 2-1 as the score, about 500 gold difference. Still anybody's game by any stretch of the imagination. And take a look at Rengar with that 101. He goes back to town. He picks himself up the Bone Tooth necklace.
Wow, and yeah, that bone tooth necklace, really a key item on Rengar. It snowballs way better than actual snowball item because you only lose one stack instead of like a third of your stacks. So that's a really huge hit. I mean, if you had 20 stacks on like a Sword of the Occult, you'd lose 9 of them when you died. But Rengar only loses 1. So as long as he's positive as far as kills are and assists are concerned, then you're actually getting really, really strong. And the bonuses it gives him are absolutely ridiculous. Bottom lane, a lot of aggression. Bargle narrowly surviving, but will get picked up there. Ezreal forced to get out of the fight a little bit faster, but Nunu just so strong with all of his sustain. Just look at that health getting right back up there. So we will see Lee Sin come in there. There is the Ice Ball, forcing the Flash out of the Weeno. Flash in from Lee Sin. He's going to go a little bit hard under the turret here against the Weeno. The stun coming out, but he does not have enough mana for it. But turret just doing too much damage, and Tarek will make it out of there alive, but forced to burn Flash.
Yeah, Schlegel, not exactly the biggest in terms of DPS at this point. He does have Protection Boots, Vamp, as well as the Longsword, but I mean, well, 10 damage is only going to take you so far up against a very tanky Tarek. I mean, at this point, Tarek, 87 armor. Has 3 into that Shatter, which is again something more of a build that I do approve of, maxing out the Shatter rather than the heal or the stun because of that passive aura. And at the same time, I mean, it was a lot of aggression. They did initiate that on top of Ezreal, but Ezreal just too hard to take down. He did use the Flash as well as the Arcane. He did get out, and that is half the reason you take an Ezreal in that bottom lane, for that survivability.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons Ezreal can actually go top lane, but there's actually a deadly sin, as he really underestimated the power of No Evoit. I'm pretty sure that's like something backwards or something weird, but top lane looks like that's a dead Rengar as well. Wow, I was really impressed to
bro. Rengar's
see,
down
no, not Rengar, bottom, the gank. Yeah, I just misread that. Corki not as able to escape as Ezreal was there in that situation, and that's just one of the powerful things about having that Nunu in lane. Slow so good, and now with a lot of minions, this bottom turret could actually go down.
Yeah, definitely a possibility. I'm not too sure that taking it down this early, I mean, 10 minutes in, ending the laning phase for your bottom AD carry, not entirely the best idea, at least in my books, but that, it's going to go down, no problem. At the same time, we did have a few more of those kills, and a key note here is, again, during that invasion by Lee Sin and Rengar in that bottom lane, we took the opportunity to ward out the blue from data extrapolators, and then mid lane Ahri took it. No blue for Anivia. She is a little sad.
Yeah, and blue buff on Anivia. Yeah, one of the most key people to have that blue buff on, but with Tyr and Chalice, that's going to give her a lot of mana regen, so I don't think that'll hurt too badly, but you can see that Nunu knows what's going on here with the dragon. It's getting DPS relatively quickly. Ezreal ultimate coming down, not in time, but it's going to hit Super Ownage a little bit hard. Nunu's coming in there. Can he get the nom on it? He does not get that in time. Ahri's going to pick up the kill. Shlongli takes out the ultimate from Super Ownage 21. Will he be able to dish out the Super Ownage? Oh my goodness, PG Club jumping in to the middle of the enemy team, and Nautilus gonna have to get out of here as fast as possible, but with an exhaust on Lee Sin, he's gonna back out. Ahri escaping with narrowly 0 HP, and Nautilus does not make it out alive. You cannot run through the jungle from a Rengar. Oh my goodness. Even more carnage as Ahri will fall. So will Corki, and only Jace, will he actually make it out of here alive? He's gonna go for the kill, but he cannot pick it up. Actually, oh, the Ignite.
Made the best of a bad situation. Poor Jace, 5-on-1, wasn't looking exactly good, but he was able to take Lee Sin with him down. Now, at the same time, you know, that was a dragon. I don't really think that we were expecting that, you know, not your average nobodies. We were just sitting there, they were very confident of that dragon. As soon as they saw Nunu go in, who, by the way, didn't die. I mean, he was 5-on-1 going for the dragon steal, and he didn't die. That just says something right there, and yeah, I don't know, it felt like a little bit of not really focus I mean, it just seemed kind of everyone was fending for themselves, and at the same time, we had data extrapolators working more towards kill targets. That's just kind of what the fight felt like a bit to me. But either way, they do get aced, and now Yan going to lose a second turn of the game.
Wow, first turret taken at 10 minutes, second at 12, and really Nyan is just hemorrhaging turrets right now. We're going to look to see data extrapolators possibly start to put some pressure on that top lane, and as that is the only turret left alive here for Nyan.
Yep, 2 down, 1 to go, but it is looking fairly good for them. 10 to 4 as the score for data. And they're up 4,000 gold, more or less, at this point. I mean, 2 global golds compared to the Dragon, sure, cancels it a little bit, but at the same time, we've also now seen Rengar, with that teleport, initiate some more ganks, and that's been forcing Jace now to come out of lane as well. Jace, 64 creeps to the 84 of Rengar. At the same time, Rengar part of 9 kills. 9 of the 10, believe it or not, Rengar's been a part of. That says something for the top lane involvement in the game.
Well, it also says something for Rengar. He is absolutely huge, just crushing that wave top lane, continuing to shove turrets. And once again, it looks like this red buff is going to be under contesting, but it looks like, yeah, Lee Sin just coming in there, taking it up with Anivia here as well, and Rengar jumping seemingly all the way over that bush. Looks like Super Onage is going to go down, but no, he's going to get knocked up. Cannot run fast enough, or can he? Looks like he will actually make it out of there alive, but what?
30 hit points.
Oh my goodness, so close.
30 hit points. Gotta get that flash out. Quinkapop does not want to pop that egg in such dangerous territory, so she will live to see another day, but again, another red buff stolen out. I think Nautilus now has been... Let's see, the bottom one isn't here down here. So yeah, Nautilus been denied 3 out of 4 red buffs on the map so far. Schlungel been doing some really excellent counter and pressure in that regard. But at the same time, every time Lee Sin does show up somewhere, Nautilus, he's been playing pretty smart. Yeah, he has been going for other objectives, other ganks, other lane pressures every time that Lee Sin does show himself. So I'm going to give him some credit there. He does have 2-1-1 to his name. And again, that 30 hit point escape, pretty huge for him at that point.
Okay, now it looks like Ari will pick up her own blue buff, and something I really want to point out here has been the warding from both teams. You see so many wards, not just on the map. There is a little bit of a random Ezreal ult, but not quite aimed at the blue. But yeah, so many wards on the map, and even in the inventory. Bichiclet trying to get in there and take the blue buff, but he's going to go for no Yvette. Not able to pick up a kill, and there's going to be a death for Rengar, taking off a stack off of his necklace, and really didn't accomplish very much with that.
No, not too much, but it's funny that you're talking about wards and he goes and checks this place with no wards. He's thus put one down. You can see Schlongel here trying to get into the mix, trying to body block out people, and landing such great combos. Allows Ezreal to pick up the kill and the double now right under that tower. 13-6 as the score, and they've successfully contested blue buff. Thus, Ari will not be picking up her own blue buff.
Wow, yeah, I felt like that was pretty certain, and then Rengar shows up, and I mean, I guess that was worth it in the end, as it was a 4v5, and they still caught it out, or I guess a 4v4. Still able to win, so data extrapolators definitely making the moves, making the plays, and securing not only a blue buff for Anivia, but also, I mean, Rengar's 5-1. You got 3-3 on Lee Sin, 2 O's for the rest of the team, except for Nunu's 1-2-3 right up the line there. But really great plays, and they're looking to be really strong. 13-6, already securing themselves about a 4,000 gold advantage.
Yeah, and again, we're going to take a quick look at top lane, where the only tower for Nyan does stand. Beachy, sitting at 106 creeps, and been part of 10 of the 13 kills, is level 11. Jace, however, level 10 at 82 creeps, 4 deaths to his name. Believe it or not, I really expected a bit more of a experience difference, but at this point, 3 towers down to 0, the pressure is definitely on. In terms of the mid, we are looking at 107 creeps to the 120, as Quinkapop takes that anchor to the face. There's that egg form coming out, and the ultimates galore going down. We really want to make sure that she's not going to be getting out of this one, so effectively killing her twice. That egg pop, man, now it's going to be down for the next 5 minutes. That's not too good for Anivia.
No, it's kind of like blowing your flash on a Heimerdinger mid. You just realize that without that flash, you are so incredibly vulnerable. And now Anivia, with neither her flash nor her egg, flash will be up pretty soon, but without that egg, she is a lot more vulnerable. So, I mean, she is on Rengar's team rather than against him, so that's something going in her favor. But once she dies, she will die for reals. And now Rengar actually finding a Nautilus here. He's going to start DPS and joined by Ezreal and Nunu. He's not going to be able to make it out of there alive.
If there's anything I'm taking out of this, it's move on over Jace. Hello, Rengar domination top lane. Again, another kill. That he's just that much closer to his Trinity, and now with that Dragon, that should for sure put him at that 300 mark. Indeed, 680. He can just go home, pick up that Trinity Force any point, and a Trinity before 17.5 minutes with tier 2 boots and a bone necklace. You gotta say he's rolling in the cash.
He's 6-1 right now with most farm in the game, with the exception of Ahri, who's actually at 128, out farming even Anivia. Ultimate goes out there from Ezreal just to try to deter Jace, but Ahri in a horrible position, gonna try to ult out of this. Will it be available? Look at BG Kled just jump absolutely across the map, able to pick up the kill. Wow, you just cannot run from Rengar.
Nope, and at the same time, Jace not able to get away from that perma-slow Quinca cap. I mean, it doesn't really help that there's an Ezreal on his tail either. There's great mobility from both champions and great range on their abilities as well. Two more kills in the coffer, 16-7. We're looking at about 6,000 gold difference, and we do have an Oracles now on Lee Sin. So let's take a quick look at the vision that Team Red does have. They got 2 wards to their name. One there over by Baron, the other by their own blue. Not exactly key places, especially since a lot of these kills happening in their own jungle. But check out the ward coverage, from data extrapolators, consistently right through enemy jungle. That's how they're picking up a lot of these kills. They're just basically ambushing.
Yeah, absolutely, and pushing in onto the middle turret. You can see them leaving it there at half health. Top turret has minions pushing on it as well. Bottom actually being pushed here for Nyan, so that's definitely going to be something that maybe data extrapolators want to take care of. But other than that, they're just completely overrunning the map, taking out the wards with the oracles on Lee Sin, and just going to go for objective after objective. Would take the dragon if it were up. Unfortunately, not quite up just yet.
Well, they just took it like a minute ago, so we should see it in about 5 or so. But at the same time, again, we are camping a lot of these objectives. Dragon, been camped. Red and blue, been camped since the beginning of the game. It's really quite impressive how Data Extrapolators is executing their matchups. Now, we do have people going back to town doing a little bit of shopping, and again, the item difference between the two teams. Data Extrapolators looking extremely strong with their gold lead. Again, that Trinity Force now on Rengar is just going to be that much harder to deal with for not your average nobodies. Now, at the same time, we're going to take a quick look at the Nyan items. We do have that Phage on Jace. That's not Jace. Where's my Jace? There's Jace. He does have that Phage, he does have the double Dorans, but he's just so far behind in terms of that Trinity. Look at this, as soon as Rengar comes out, just gotta run the other way. That's all you can do here, brother. That's all you can do. Support Taric, only the 2 gold pretends, not even tier 2 boots, but it looks like he's going for that Aegis. Again, just a little bit more cash starved than normal, whereas we do got Nautilus with that Warden's Mail already. He's trying to really dampen out that attack speed coming out of Rengar, but so far, I don't think it's been working out that great.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's too much right now that can dampen Rengar's attacks at all. I mean, he's got his 9 stacks. That is going to be 9 trophies. It extends his leap range. It gives him movement speed and additional 10 armor penetration. So this guy is rolling in the, well, pretty much everything right now. There's nothing he cannot do. I don't think there's anybody in the game right now that can 1v1 him accurately. And just he and Anivia just shoving things in. It's going to be really, really rough to watch this next engagement here for Team Nyan. There is the Ezreal coming out. It's going to give Ezreal max stacks of Rising Spell Force. Super Ownage does not, in fact, own anyone. Instead, gets owned himself. Nunu ult channeled right in the middle of the enemy team. Ezreal getting the DPS down on Ahri will take her down. Jace escaping with his life. And wow, actually, Slongle and ZXCO making it out of there with pretty low health.
I like how we came together. Nyan said, alright, we don't like that Rengar, and under turret, that stealth absolutely means nothing. And he died. Unfortunately for them, they did have to pay 2 for 1, no foot, as well as Super Ownage, as you said, not really owning up anyone. Argo Bargo could be in a potential trouble, but oh, if Schlongel loses out on that, Oracles would have been a huge deal. Oh, the Shock Blast, just not nearly in range. But again, Schlongel with that Oracles really denying a lot of vision that Nyan is trying to put up there in the jungle so they can counter some of this movement from Data Extrapolators. But I don't know, just not able to seal the deal quite yet. Sure, low hit points, but 1 hit point means no kill.
Yeah, and we've actually seen quite a few people escape with very, very low hit points so far in this game, and really, it's mostly been on the side of Data Extrapolators. I mean, you look at the score, it's 18-8, and you know, a lot of them have been getting out of a lot of very scary situations with not very many HPs, if that's a unit of measurement. But yeah, it's 18-8, 35,000 to 27, and almost 10,000 gold lead. At least that's what we're climbing in on here. And Baron buff completely unwarded here for Team Nyan. Definitely open and available here for Data Extrapolators.
Well, again, Data, they really are doing a really good job of keeping track of the enemy movements. Again, they're really afraid to go past their own river, sometimes even their own jungle, and that is exactly where the vision is for Data Extrapolators. They instantly know which lanes they're going to, which lanes are open, and they also have all this objective coverage. You know, wards on blue, wards on red really does make it really easy to time out everything. You can see Beachy trading extremely well against that Jace top lane, but there's no support coming whatsoever for that top. If all 5 go top, could be a nice push mid for Data Extrapolators, but it does look like, you know, you speaking of Baron, speak of the devil, he does appear.
And there we go. We're going to see Lee Sin jump over the wall, and he's actually going to start that Baron. Nunu is also really, really good at Baron, so they're going for a 3-man, now 4-man, as they are joined by Anivia. Rengar sort of zoning out the enemy team, and really, there's nothing that Nyan can do about this. Vici Kled coming in there, possibly to get the kill. No, it does get smoked accurately enough there by Lee Sin. Shalong Li has actually been all over the map, participating in, what is that, 13 kills. So here we go. Here's the engage. Looks like Corki's going to get it almost immediately drop down. He's gonna have to back out. Rengar finds him, takes him out, jumps after that onto Ahri. He's just an anti-carry extraordinaire. Ahri just jumping away as fast as humanly possible. She's gonna might get out of there alive. Yes, okay. Wow, that was close. Rengar shredding through Corki, and everybody else on his team annihilating the rest. So not a whole lot left to talk about other than, wow, that was an excellent team fight for Data Extrapolators.
Yep, tower under pressure. It is Ahri and Jace both alive, but 2-on-5, Schlongel landing an amazing resonating strike into the Sonic. And just really putting up that pressure. Again, we still have no Trinity on this Jace, just a little bit of an indication of how far behind he is in farm. And really, he just can't contest it. We didn't lose anyone whatsoever for Data, and you know, it's just like, okay, well, we're going to take your red, we're going to take your blue, we're going to reward, we still have an Oracles, we're denying vision, and now we have a super lane ready to go. It's just pressure the other lanes, the rest will fall.
Oh, wow, there was actually a flash over the Anivia wall from Nautilus, and then forcing the counter flash from Anivia herself. A really great chase out of Nyan right now, but top lane being pressured by Ezreal. He has that Baron buff. It's going to give him extra regen, and he's going to be pushing that top lane super hard. Does he know about Jason in that bush? I don't think so. And there comes Jason onto Ezreal. Ezreal taken down so low, so fast. He's just getting chunked one after another. There's the Ignite coming out, and one more auto attack will take him down. There's the shutdown from Jace there on Ezreal. Wow. And then the reinitiate. Rengar going in onto the Weeno. He's going to lose so much health so fast. Going to get taken down there. So trading 1-for-1 there, except that Super Ownage still dead from a little bit earlier. And now with Jace and Ahri top lane, they're going to defend that for the time being. But yeah, Ezreal saying very cheeky in all chat. And will Argo Bargo be able to keep that turret from going down? He's going to get flashed in on, taken out after the dragon kick from Lee Sin. First Nexus turret goes down, second one under attack. It will go down very shortly, and this will be the game here for Data Extrapolators.
Yep, excellent fight up top. I mean, Jace showing his power against that Ezreal. You can't really count him too far out when you're not comparing him to Rengar, but at the same time, that dragon fight, I mean, we wanted to contest it. Nyan really wanted to try for that dragon, but they just lost so much because of it. And now with both Nexus turrets down, it's just really we're taking our time. We're trying to get as many kills as we can, but 25 to 10 data extrapolators will be moving on in the Alienware Week 5 battle arenas. So, No Foot at the very beginning of it, he's like, this is probably going to be a stomp, but we'll try to give you a good game. And I gotta say, Data Extrapolators, they brought their A game to it, but I wouldn't discount No Foot and his team for really anything that they did. There was not that many things you can do up against a Rengar, except ban him. So maybe you can do
Yeah,
that next time.
definitely ban worthy. I was actually really impressed with the way Ari played. I mean, she was the only positive member of her team, so she was definitely representing really, really well. Just the bottom lane got crushed a little bit, and then top, well, hey, it was Rengar. And to be honest, he wasn't really top that much. He roamed a whole lot and just did what Rengars do. Completely destroyed Corki in every single fight that they were both in, and just really a real terror to deal with. So. Yeah, there's a nice little notification at the top of the League of Legends client that says we are currently investigating issue with games starting slower than usual. So we definitely know what that's like.
Okay, so wasn't just us. We're not totally crazy. It's all good. But here's the score screen for you guys. Take a quick look at the 11 and 2 Rengar. 10.8 thousand gold to his name, 154 creeps, but fairly solid build, especially when you can get it as early as he did. They got that Trinity at about the 17.5-minute mark after the tier 2 boots and the bone necklace, and then into that just to rub salt in the wound, gets himself a Guardian Angel. So very solid build from Rengar, nice and snowbally. Oh, it was a good game, well played. But yeah, next time, what can you do? Just ban Rengar. It's all good.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that for whatever reason he is not going to be included in the Season 2 championships. It'd be a perma pick or perma ban, regardless of everything. He's just really, really strong right now, and just went ahead and showed that strength. And that's not actually, I don't mean to discount anything from the guy that played him, but it was actually really, really interesting to see exactly how he played Rengar and used him and his abilities to the best of their effects. So congratulations to Data Extrapolators for taking down Not Your Average Nobodies. I was trying to think of the acronym. So yeah, Not Your Average Nobodies will fall here in Week 5 of the Alienware Arena Battlegrounds.
Alright guys, so this has been the EU portion of the weekly broadcast. Later tonight, we will be getting the NA game in, and I do actually have the game confirmed. The names escape me, but that just means you're going to have to come on back in a few hours. If you guys need to know some precise times, you can hit me up on Twitter, FourCourtJester. You can find me out there, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. So, weekly Alienware content will be coming out every Thursday, more or less 8 p.m. CEST, or CDT. I do believe Daylight Savings will be kicking in fairly soon. And this will be Alienware EU's time slot. So, go tell your friends, enter the contest, and if I contact you guys on Alienware, hey, it's just like, hey, you want to get shoutcasted, you want to be famous, just make sure that you confirm. And it's easy as that. But with my co-caster today, Rapid Casting, where can people find you, dude?
Well, you can hit me up on Twitter at RapidTransit247, on YouTube as well. That's where I put most of my content. It's youtube.com/RapidTransit247 as well, with a 1 for the I in transit. And yeah, on Facebook as well at Rapid Casting, on there, as well as on the fabulous League of Legends EU server at Rapid Casting. You can go ahead and add me on there. I don't have a lot of friends over here, but I always like talking to people who watch, who play, and who love League of Legends as much as I do. So yeah, that's going to do it, I think, for the EU portion of this broadcast, and we will be back a little bit later on to broadcast the Alienware Arena Battlegrounds for North America.
Indeed. So guys, thanks for watching. We'll catch you later.